I'm Robin Huffman. I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I think Keith Andrew is doing an amazing job. I was invited on his podcast, and I have enjoyed every moment, and I would invite anyone to be on his show. And I would definitely promote what he's doing out here because it's simply absolutely amazing.
Welcome to the KeithAndrewNetwork. It is season 12, number 70. That's right, 1,170 episodes done on the great brand as the KeithAndrewNetwork. Today we have a great guest. She already introduced herself. First thing I want to say to you is thank you for your service. And the second question I want to talk to you about is tell our audience a little bit about yourself as we begin Icebreakers. That being said, tell our audience a little about yourself.
Hello, Keith. Good afternoon. It's good to be here, and thank you for inviting me. Well, I was born and raised in Southwest Virginia. I grew up on a farm. I've been a nurse for 28 years. I spent 4 years active duty military. In between some of that, I was a flight attendant. I just retired in April. And right before that, I decided I wanted to pursue an acting and modeling career. And that's what I've been doing for the last year. I've been featured in Matilda magazine as a cover model. I've been featured in Lure magazine as one of their featured models. I've also been in 2 feature films, and I just got cast in one of Dean Cain's movies. So I'm going to be doing that here in December. And then I was a background actor in Beauty in Black, and I got to meet Tyler Perry. It was pretty exciting. So it's been pretty exciting the last year. So I've been having a lot of fun, enjoying life.
No, absolutely. I just noticed I had like a bald spot on my So I've done
Well,
that
Keith, I
before.
didn't even notice that.
Well,
I
you are
may
your
have
own
one
worst
on me
enemy.
too, and I haven't seen it.
Well, you look great, though. You look fantastic. You look lovely. But seriously, you look great.
You're so sweet. Thank you, Keith.
Now, the next one I want to talk to you about is well, let me ask you this one. How has COVID impacted your life, and do you see life in a different point of view because of COVID?
Wow. COVID did affect me because I was a nurse at the time, and I saw how it shut us down, even being able to take care of patients and actually do our job very well. And as a healthcare provider, we were all scared. We didn't know what was coming at us. We still had to take care of the patients and do what we had to do. And the unknown was just, it was fearful, Keith. Um, I don't have that fear of it anymore, like I did. I just kind of roll on with it and roll with the punches. I know that God is watching over us as healthcare providers, and I'm just a firm believer in faith, and I know He's got this.
No, absolutely. I believe in God. I believe in the devil because I always believe there's a balance in the universe,
Yes,
good
sir.
and bad, right and wrong. So, that's just me. I do believe in the devil, but, it's whatever you want to believe in. But I always believe there's a balance and it always balances out at the end.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. I think there are evil forces that wander around here with us, but I still believe the good outweighs the bad always.
Absolutely. So you mentioned you served in the army.
Yes, sir.
Did you have family that served in the army that inspired you to follow in their footsteps?
You know what is so funny, Keith? My dad was in the Army. My brother was in the Air Force. And my son, this was so funny, he wanted to be in the Marine Corps. And I was like, okay, everybody else is going in. So at 45 years old, I went in the United States Army. I went off to officer basic because I was already a nurse, already had a degree. And so we left the same summer. He went to boot camp on the West Coast and was a Hollywood Marine, and I went to San Antonio. So we went off to boot camp together. So it was kind of interesting. And so I was very proud of him. He actually went overseas a couple of times. I ended up staying stateside. I did open heart surgery, so I took care of the soldiers here.
Again, I thank you for your service. We all appreciate it.
Thank you, Keith.
What were some of your, I should actually come up with a card of questions for people in the Army and the Air Force. But
Mhm.
let me see, because most of these are acting questions, but let me tweak it a little bit.
Sure.
What are you most, let's see, and well, let me ask you this, because you also mentioned you are an actor. Tell our audience how you began your career. Were you on, you mentioned you served in the Army.
Yes, sir.
Now, did you do acting before or after you served?
I did not do any acting till after the Army. I was in the Army from 2005 to the end of 2008, so almost 4 years. I did not start any acting until um, like right at a year ago.
Oh, nice. Well, as long as you have the heart and passion for it, it doesn't matter when you start.
Yes, sir. As long as you have that passion. And I literally started out thinking, oh, I'm going to do modeling because I thought, oh, you're 63, we'll see what happens. And then I kind of got the acting bug, but when I got featured on Matilda magazine at the age of 63, I thought, oh, wow, this really didn't just happen, but it did. And then I kind of started doing a little research, and then I took a couple of acting classes. I thought, okay, maybe I can do this. So it's just been like a roller coaster, and I've met some amazing people, Keith, absolutely amazing.
There's only a couple. I'm looking at the list of questions, and I'm not ignoring you or anything. And that's kind of like, how can I relate this to being in the Army? And I'm like, well, this one may work, that one may not. So let me go back to the first question I wanted to talk to you about. What attracted you to begin your acting career, and what attracted you to be and serve in the Army?
I went to serve in the Army for the sheer fact of, I had family members who had been in the military. Now, I know I went in at a later time, but I have this thing about me. It's like, if someone says, no, you can't do it, I was like, no, watch me. And there's so many needs for soldiers, and so many things out there that my brother had told me. My son was getting ready to go in. So I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I was still at that age. I think their cutoff age was like 48. I was 45. I was like, yep, I'm going. And I went in and commissioned as an officer to go in. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to go Army or Air Force, and I went Army.
Do you
So
have
I
any
kind of
regret?
followed my dad. Yes, sir. I kind of followed my dad. And as far as acting, it's not something I thought about all my life, or just woke up and I kind of just woke up and said, "Oh, I think I'll be an actor." That's kind of how it happened. I've always been told I had that comedic side about me. When I was a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, they're like, "Oh my God, you're in the wrong profession. You need to be doing something because you're so funny." And I just got into like, okay, maybe I should pursue this and see what happens. And from some of the actors I've worked with, they're like, Robin, you're hilarious. You need to be doing something comedic. And I'm like, okay. So that's kind of what I'm pursuing. Um, the one thing I really love to do is be on a Netflix show. I mean, I think that's like my goal, what I really, really want to do. I watch them a lot, and I just think that's one of my goals to work for, is to get to be on a Netflix series, be it comedy or be it drama or horror, whatever. I think
No,
it's
I can relate because I used to be a cashier at Walmart,
Mhm.
and I used to have a smile on my face. And persons like who came over to my line, oh, we're gonna go on your line because you're happy. You look like you give and it's uncensored. You give a shit. You have a smile on your face, and it looks like you really care. Why?
Right.
How come you're smiling? It's like, well, it's a long day, and I'm thinking of sarcastic things to help pass the time. I
Well,
think I said it, but I don't remember if I said it.
well, that's kind of the way that I've gotten rapport with doctors I've worked with, other nurses. I was in nurse leadership for a long time, and I've just always been that person that was like cared about the people I worked with. So to me, for me to play a role, I played a role as a nurse a couple of times, which is kind of like secondhand. That would be easy for me to play. I would like to play something challenging that I really have to study, to learn to do, or to get into a character that I don't know anything about. So that's kind of what I'm searching to get to do.
I can wait, but the reason I bring it up is because you mentioned that people say you were in the wrong area or type of work, because I was more personable and I'm making jokes and I'm like, well, do you really enjoy this? Well, what do you do in your free time? I'm actually a talk show host in my free time. Well, you should be doing that instead of ringing people up.
Well, and Keith, you're actually really good at it.
I appreciate it. It took me 11 and a half years, but I found something I'm good at.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have that personality and that approachable, personality. So yeah, this is your niche.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you're actually the first person to ever say that to me.
Well, I could tell it the first time I met you. Very
Thank you.
approachable.
So the next one I want to ask you, what has been your great, well, let me ask you this. Do you have any regrets about serving in the Army, or did you really have your heart set on and being in the Air Force?
Oh, no. No, I have no regrets with the way I went and what I did. I actually love being in the military. Um, I grew up hunting and fishing and doing all those things like a tomboy. And then when I got in there, I had to learn how to actually take a weapon apart and clean it and those type of things. And I had to go out to the range and shoot and stuff. And I was out there with other servicemen and stuff. And I shot expert on the range. And they were like, "Where'd you learn to shoot?" I was like, "Oh, I grew up shooting." And so I kind of became like a weapons specialist. It wasn't planned. Um, so there were things that were just amazing for me to learn to get to do. I learned land nav. I would never know anything about land nav if I was ever in the Army. If I hadn't been there, I can read a topographical map. That was never anything I set out to do, but I am so thankful for the service that I did in the Army, and the Veterans Association's been amazing to me. The benefits and the things that it's been wonderful. I would not change my career path at all.
What has been some of your greatest achievements while serving in the Army and being an actor? Well, actress, I do apologize.
Oh, that's okay. Actors good. Some of my greatest achievements, I think, were some of the soldiers and the family members I met. I did go in as a first lieutenant, and then I became a captain within 6 months. So I moved up. And so when I left, I was a captain. So that was pretty honorable for me. I had been given quite a few medals, and then I was given a flag as I left. So I still have that in a case. It means a lot to me. I'm going to be given the flag, given a quilt of valor this Saturday, and from the Veterans Memorial. So they're going to wrap me in a quilt, and I thought that was it's pretty amazing to be honored like that as a veteran. And I think being able to take care of some of the soldiers. I spent some time in the burn unit, and I took care of quite a few patrons that had misfortunes with IEDs and burns and things like that. And I'm so glad that I got to be there to take care of those soldiers and be a part of their lives. I still have a cross that's attached to my dog tag that was given to me by a soldier. That still means so much to me. Just like my son wears a bracelet from a soldier. That was a dear friend of his that was lost in Iraq. But things like that, they can never take away from me. And I like I said, I wouldn't change anything that I did. The other thing, the things that I've accomplished so far in acting was, like I said, I had the background role in Beauty in Black. I got to meet Tyler Perry. That was pretty amazing to me, and be in that big studio, which I was like overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, this is like insane. And then I got my first feature film, which is going to come out in June, called Blind Date. So I played a nurse in that role. And then I did another film here, local, that's going to come out in the film festivals, which I played the lead role in that. I played a mom. And I've done a couple of spec commercials. And then I was another actor in a series that just came out, Deadpool Just Another Day. So that filmed over in Wilmington. And then the two model roles. And then now I'm going to the JC Films production that's going to take place in West Virginia in December. So it's kind of rocking.
I'm sorry, you said Deadpool, right?
Deadpool Just Another Day. It's kind of like a series that they did just after. It's written by Alec Beatty, and it's kind of like a tribute to to the Lee who wrote all those comic series. So it's not like the Deadpool movies.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
it
got my
came out on
hopes up.
YouTube. Yeah, that would be great to be on Deadpool and do all that. So the actual movie, but this is a series that they wrote, and it's called Deadpool Just Another Day. So it came out on YouTube. So the first season just came out. It was really, really good. So that was my first role that I got to be in. I played a mutant.
Oh, nice.
So
Well, we can definitely talk about that off the air. Well,
yeah.
actually, I can ask you now. If you and the cast would like to be on the show, I would love to promote it and have invite the entire cast to be a part of it.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely talk to the cast. And like I said, this other movie this one's going to be pretty big, Blind Date. It's supposed to come out in, I think, June of 2025. It's in production right now, so we just finished filming, and we're going to do the red carpet premiere in February or March up in Raleigh, and it should come out. And then they're going to do a series after that. So it's pretty exciting. This one's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about this. So.
No, absolutely. And you guys are more than welcome to be on my show
Okay.
anytime.
Oh, thank you, Keith. I will definitely let them know, the producers and the directors, and definitely let them know.
So the next one I want to ask you is what were some of the best of acting? Well, let me ask you. Well, this is about acting slash military. What are I can speak. Pardon my disability.
Oh,
What
that's
are
okay.
some of the best advice you have ever gotten while you're being an actor and while you're in the army?
Some of the best advice that I've got as an actor is to be yourself, is to not portray the character like you're acting. Try to bring what you would bring to the stage like yourself as that character. Like, don't play that character like that character. Make that character you and bring that to the stage. Then you make it you. And some of the most valuable things I have learned in the military is to really follow your leaders, because they really are there for you. Um, and to respect your leaders, which I learned a great deal about respect and a great deal about who your one-ups are, and even paying attention to who does this for you, who does that for you, who to go to. And it's just an amazing, amazing circle to be in.
No, I agree with you. Now, the next one I want to talk to you about, then we can go to another subject. The last, let's see, one, two, last three questions. Well, actually, two. The first one is what's difficult about being an actor for you, and what was the most difficult thing about serving in the army?
One of the most difficult things about being an actor, I think, is um, you audition a lot. It's like you're working every day and you're auditioning, and you get a ton of auditions, and sometimes you just never know if you get the role. And you're just like hanging out there going, okay, was my audition good? Did I do okay? Or did I just not fit? And then you never hear back. The hardest thing is like, oh, was it crappy or was it good? And I think one of the hardest things about being in the military was just, number one, it was learning the lingo at first. And then when I first started, I had to like learn the ranks. It's like, okay, this is a first lieutenant, this is a captain. Okay, so this is the major. Okay, so I salute first. Okay, who salute? Did someone else? Oh, they salute me first. It's like, then you salute, you wait on this. So that was what you'd be walking down. I was like, no, that's a major. I salute first. And so we were like totally newbies. It was like, who salutes who first when you're passing them? And it's a respect thing. It's like, oh no, that's a major. I salute first. So it's like looking and it's like, oh, what do they have on? Oh, I was like, oh no, they're a second lieutenant. They're supposed to salute me. So
It's funny. Well, let me ask you, you were in the army with, was it mixed or were you in the army with other women?
but I didn't understand you.
Oh, when you served in the army, was it mixed? Were you with guys or were you just?
Yes, yes, it was mixed. And when we went to training, it was all OBC, like officer basic training. So it was a whole bunch of officers like doctors, nurses, dentists, hygienists, physical therapists. And we had a great time. We were at Camp Bullis in San Antonio. And it's like some people had never seen a gun, some people never wore boots. I mean, our poor dentists had lots of blisters on their feet. I know. And I was like, I was sitting there, I was like, oh, heaven forbid if the real military ever gets shot up and we're trying to protect each other, we're all going to die.
Well, let me ask you, while we're on the subject, do you have any funny stories you would like to share from your military years and your acting career?
Okay. Let's see. Well, I have one funny story, and I would not sell this poor colonel out, but we'd only been in training maybe been there like 2 weeks, and we were in these big trucks. There's quite a few funny stories, but this one really stands out. And they had these big trucks that they hauled us in, and he was a colonel, and I think he was a cardiologist. He was a cardiologist, cardiac surgeon, but I think he was a cardiologist. And he wasn't a real big guy, and I'm not a real big person. And we were kind of all sitting outside the truck, and they had these big lead lines that hang down. So because when you roll the things down, you can actually put the tarp down. And he was going to swing on this this rope that come around the deal. And when he swung out to the side, he come around the deal like he was hollering Tarzan, and he smacked the side of the truck, and it knocked him out, and he just fell over. I was like, oh my God, he's knocked out. And we were just sitting there, and he just went and fell over off the side of the truck. And so we were rendering aid to the poor guy, and he knocked himself out, swinging off the side of the truck. So there were just several things. And then the first time they decided to hand us grenades. We were going to do grenade throwing. I was like, oh, this ought to be interesting. I said, I don't think this is such a great idea to do. So they let the guys go first. And there were a couple of times that they had to like grab it and put the pin back in. I was like, hit the deck. They were throwing the grenades. So we were the first experimental group with the grenade throwing. I was like, y'all sure you want to do this? And one other thing that did happen is we were shooting pistols, which were the 9mm. And I was fine with shooting the pistols, and most people were. But there were a couple of females that never had touched a pistol. And we were down on the end like this, and this girl was like, she really didn't want to shoot the gun, and she picked it up like this, and she looked over to say something to me and pointed the gun right at me, and I hit the deck. I just fell to the ground, and she shot right over top of me. I was like, oh my God. I could have died right there.
I mean, it's not funny, but it is.
It really wasn't, but it was kind of funny at the moment when you see the sergeant's eyes, and he runs over there and grabs the pistol out of her hand. He's like, you don't need to be shooting. Like, did somebody take her gun? And some funny things. I'm trying to think of some funny things that have happened in acting. Well, in the movie that I've been playing in, we all were standing in a kitchen scene, and several of us were playing the roles of nurses. And the one guy coming around is supposed to be like a rock star actor. And he's coming around to the kitchen, and we're supposed to all be oohing over him. And I'm playing with one of the other girls that's a nurse, and we actually reached over and started hugging each other, and we were just doing the oh baby. And then he got tickled. He just says, I can't do this. And then he just walked over like this. And then everybody was like, cut, cut. And everybody was laughing because we were cracking up over here on the side. He just almost had to be there to see the scene. So we've had some funny things. I mean, you just kind of lose it sometimes when you're filming.
That's true. Sometimes the bloopers are funnier.
The bloopers are quite funny. If you watch Friends, you'll see a lot of them.
So the last one I want to talk to you about real fast, song of the day. What song did you listen to today? And who are some of your favorite rock and roll or music bands?
Oh, Def Leppard. It's my favorite band. As a child, I never got to go to bands or go to any type of rock concerts. So my husband's been taking me to all kinds of rock concerts. So it's been amazing to get to do that. But Def Leppard is my favorite band. The song I listened to today by Kiss, Lick It Up.
Great bands.
Oh my gosh, just great, great bands. I spent most of my life in Texas. I was a country music person, but now I'm just rock and roll.
Now, the last question, I want you to be brutally honest.
Mhm.
When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction when you got the email, and what made you say yes?
My first reaction was, is he for real? And then after you sent me some emails and I really got to know you, I thought, wow, what an honor. And I was really flattered that you sent me an invitation. And Keith, is an absolute honor to meet you and to actually be a part of your show and to be here with you. And I think what you do is absolutely amazing.
And the last two questions is, how do you feel now, and would you recommend it to other people who are hesitant about being on or being a part of my show?
In a heartbeat. I would recommend it to even some other actor friends of mine, or anyone that you might want to interview on your show, that because I think what you're doing is amazing. I do. And I know there are a lot of people out there with disabilities and things like that. I'm a disabled veteran. I have those things that I deal with every day as well.
No, I agree with you. I do have a couple of questions for you off the air, but our goal is to reach 500 to 1,000 views. That's right. I'm going to share it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, all social medias. I expect you to do the same too.
I will.
Once we reach our goal, we will definitely do a part two. But I do want to take this time to promote December 14th. That's right. December 14th will be a Christmas, I guess you can say Christmas episode. It's Christmas / holiday episode. And I would love to have you be part of it. Saturday night at 8 p.m. on December 14th.
Okay.
And with that being said, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. I have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thanks, Keith. Have a good evening.
On my show, it's supporting me. My message is all that